Okay, welcome to day 4. And welcome to day 4. We are kicking off today with none other than Kyle Ann. And I have got to tell you, this woman never ceases to amaze me. We were just talking before we hit record, and she's got so many cool projects going on. You may or may not know this about her, but she is the author of White Picket Fences and Not So Little Things. She writes contemporary women's fiction that sinks its teeth into families' miscommunications, misperceptions, and the chaos they cause. That never happens, right? Even
Never.
in the name of love. She also is the creator of Journaling for Fiction Writers and Embrace Your Muse creative writing workshops. That sounds so fun. I can't wait to hear more about that. And she enjoys traveling to visit her 4 children and 7 grandchildren, and currently resides in Southwest Florida with her husband and Bichon-poo Mia. Hello, Kyle Ann.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hi.
the stage.
Well, thanks for having me.
Are you kidding? I was tickled pink when you said yes to the book. I love, love, love your contribution. Friends, if you have not picked up a copy of Life by Design Volume 3, you want to read her chapter. Okay. And I love what you do. There's a movie I used to watch when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. It was I can't even gosh, you know what it's at the tip of my tongue. It's
I
with
don't know.
Thomas J. and every time I talk about you, I'm just reminded of this movie that brings
You
cherished
have to
memories.
tell me what it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My girl. My
Oh,
girl. She takes a summer writing class and she's loving this. And it just brings me back to my childhood because I
yes.
loved to write.
Yeah.
And ironically, I haven't written in any 3 of my books. You guys did.
Oh,
I left it up to
I
you.
never thought of that. Yeah.
But, when it comes to writing and when it comes to journaling specifically, this has come
Mhm.
up a lot so far in the last couple of days. I'd love to know, you're the expert here. What's the importance or the value of journaling? Because Kyle Ann, truth be told, I think a lot of people have heard that journaling is effective, but it either goes in one ear and out the other, or they just don't make it a priority. So I want to hear from you as to why they really should.
You hit the nail on the head. The biggest thing that people say when I do my journaling class is that, oh, I used to journal, but it's like the same thing in and out, like my life's not exciting. Well, journaling isn't necessarily about writing about your life. It's writing about how your life affects you.
Mm.
So if you look at it from the outside in, that's the value of journaling. So the idea is it's you write your thoughts, and in my courses, I mean, I think I give you 25 ways to journal. It's not about journaling about your day. You can journal about a flower you saw. You can and what it means to you. Like it's what I like to tell people. One of my mentors taught me is about getting on the bird. And when I started getting on the bird, quote unquote, I started to see the value of everything. And that's actually where my fiction writing started to come in. Because when you get on your bird and you look, like if you, when I retired from physical therapy, I pulled out all of my journals from since 5th grade, published writings, journals, everything. I thought I was a poet at one point and a songwriter in the 70s, and and then I started reading them. And that's when I started seeing the value of what I wrote then and looking at it now. And that's what people need to understand when they journal. It's about going back to the journal entry and see how it affected you or your life. Or there were times where I wrote stuff about my sister, and we got in a fight about this and we got in a fight. Now, as an adult, I can look at that and say, what was my part in that?
Mm.
What was her part in that? Why was I so upset? So it became kind of a mindset game with me looking back at my journals. So now, as I currently journal, which I journal, and we go through this in my classes, I journal in my weekly day timer. It's all, well, color coded. It's all, but this is my life. So why not? Every thought is in here. And the beauty, and if you don't know where to start, go for a walk. I give glow work all the time. Go for a walk, listen, observe, and wonder. And it's the
Mm.
wondering that's the value. All right. And it's my homework for my classes a lot of times. It's about spending 10 minutes in the moment, in the environment. I get a lot of scenes for my books from that. Um, and for a fiction writer, it's just so valuable. But as a normal, just everyday journalist, every woman, I think, and men can journal too, but I think it's very valuable to women because women, uh, you sacrifice yourself in spite of others 9 times out of 10 because you want other people happy. There's a point where you can only make so many people happy at the same time, and then you're miserable.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you write on a daily basis about, ask your kid what they did in school and write it down. And you write, I'm frustrated because she never does anything in school. And how do I ask these questions? Because I never get answers. Whatever, say that's your journal entry. Well, then you go and look at it. And when you read your anger in it, you have a better chance of coming up with a solution looking back at it than trying to solve a solution in the middle of the journaling. Am I making
Ah.
any sense here?
Are you
I
kidding
can
me? I'm
just
like
like spit it all out. It's
loving
so,
it.
so valuable to, it's about hindsight almost. You know, you want hindsight. Well, you have it if you're journaling.
Oh, oh my gosh. I've got to tell you, we've talked so much in just the first 3 days in the summit about how we learn in reflection, not in the moment. And I've
Exactly.
never heard a trainer or a mentor like yourself tell people to go back through the journal and use that as a tool. So, oh my gosh, like I hope you guys are picking up so many crazy nuggets right now. And you have shown us the incredible value of journaling and how to, and glow with an amazing acronym. My question for you is, okay, we're all super busy. That's
Yes.
not a badge of honor, people. How do we fit journaling into our lives, into our everyday life?
I have clients that journal only on the toilet
Wow,
because that's the only place she's alone without her children. So her journal is literally in the bathroom.
that's amazing.
And she goes in there. I have people that journal in they keep it in their car. So when they're at soccer practice, they can take a minute for themselves and all. Um,
Wow.
like, so, because, and that's what people say, like, I don't stick to the same schedule. I mean, I have in my class, we go over 20 excuses, and that's all they are. Because if you can prioritize it, but you have time in the bathroom, you have time in the car, you know, and it doesn't have to be the same time every day. You know, if you can't go for a walk every day, I literally sometimes have found myself in the grocery store when I'm finally alone and thinking, and I know what I want to write about today because I got that space. The word of my year the last 3 days, 3 years has been space.
Mm.
This year is simplify. It's usually balance, space, or simplify. And I know that because I have written that a million times. What I need in my life is in my writing, even if I'm not writing about myself, because you realize how you're attempting to to see your feelings about something. Why was I so angry and when I wrote this journal entry? And
Yeah,
then you get on your bird, and that problem that was so big when you're sitting down, you get on your bird and you go up here and you're like, oh, this problem's this big. It's a peanut.
amazing.
It's just a peanut. So have to get on my bird sometimes faster than others so I don't react because I am a Virgo with ADD. Therefore, I'm all over the place, but I'm organized. um, but it's like it has helped me not react because I know I'm going to go write about this and I'll think about it. You know, it's given me
Yeah.
that space I need to think.
Space is huge. And I love that you brought up the toilet. I do. I've told people many times, we talk about gratitude, right? And some of the things you can find through journaling is going to be there. Gratitude is
Right,
one of them. I know for you, authenticity is a big thing. And
right.
I was telling this story the other day about how gratitude is a game changer. And when you find a lack of gratitude in your life, there's a tool that I love to use. It's called the Mindfulness Bell. It's a free app people can download. And that bell goes off randomly throughout the day. And when that bell, it's a beautiful gong sound. When it goes off, your job in that moment is to just pause, mentally pause, and ask yourself, what am I truly grateful for right now? And my toilet story comes out of that. I was going pee. I'm a female. I have to sit down on the toilet to go pee. And that bell went off, and I was like, I am really so freaking grateful for toilet paper. And it was just a different lens, a different outlook.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing from you. That's what journaling. So if you're willing to be a little vulnerable and transparent with us, what are the some of the things that you've uncovered about yourself through the journaling process that may have either surprised you or said, hey, this was needed?
I can tell you, and then it goes into my Embrace Your Muse class. But when I was going through, when all this started in like 2014, I mean, I've taught journaling since the 90s, but then the Embrace the Muse came. The biggest, well, I won't say the biggest, but one of the things I learned is the difference between perception and perspective. And I learned that from journaling because my perception of something, which is why I write what I do as far as my fiction novels and this miscommunication and family. The perception of someone, of things that are happening, is everyone has their own perception of something's happened, but your perspective is what you bring to it. So the perception is an outside view, perspective is an inside view. And
Wow.
the difference of those things became huge to me because my perspective is one of my beliefs, you know, a value of mine, say, and that's why I have this perspective of something. But my perception, we all have our own perception of the same event. My father used to tell me, are you going to go to court and swear to the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And he said, you don't know the truth. You don't know, you only know your truth.
Ooh.
And that's your perspective, your perception of the event. But your perspective is actually what you bring to the event because that's coming from inside. Does
I
that make
hope you
sense?
are writing right now and journaling this, my friends, because I've never heard anyone bring this distinction. This is
Yeah. Well,
incredible.
I do in my Embrace Your Muse class, I do a lot of like ideation exercises to it's literally exercising your brain so that you can be intuitive and creative as fast as you can while you're writing. Because a lot of us hang on to ideas. You hang on to your perspective, your perception of something all the time. But what you have to back up and look at the perspective. What am I contributing to this scene to make it my perspective when my perception isn't the same as someone else's, but technically if I change my inside approach, I can change my perception of it.
My
But we
God.
don't want to do that. Like
Oh,
we hook onto an idea as a writer, especially. We hook onto this idea and we want to make it fit into this book. And we do this with our lives too. But we want this we want this in our book. We want this in our book. If a child was doing this and it didn't, this little scene didn't fit in the book, or this what you want to happen doesn't fit in your life, as a child, we'd say, okay, and we go do something else.
yeah.
As an adult, we hang on with dear life and we're going to make it work. No, if you can change something inside so your perspective is different, your perception could fit better in with what's happening, the truth of
Holy
it.
crap. You
And
guys,
I
you
don't
didn't
know if
know
I
you were
got
getting a
those,
master
yeah,
class.
but I don't know if I got the two words right at the same time because I go through
Well,
this.
say it 3 times fast. The tongue's like, what the hell do you want
Yeah.
me to say right now, Kyle Ann?
But one
Like,
is definitely from the outside and one's from the inside. And you can't change the outside a lot of times because your perception is how it affected everything. But
yeah.
you can change your perspective.
So here's the cool thing, because you're really delivering a master class today, and there's humans watching right now that, I'll be honest, they don't know the last time they've asked themselves, what makes me happy? they don't know anymore. We are
Mm.
on autopilot. We're sleeping through, we're just going because,
Which is
again,
like, oh, I'm going to interrupt you, but
mhm.
journaling can, that is the biggest thing. And in one of my novels, Julie, in White Picket Fences, it isn't about what do you want. None of us know what we want, but most of us know what we don't want. So
Yes.
why don't we start there? And then if you, whatever you do want, cannot include anybody else. And that
Ooh,
is so hard for a woman to do.
say it again.
I want my kids to be happy. Nope, that has nothing to do with you. I
Oh,
want to be able to cook this recipe for my husband. No, 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 no. What do you want to do? I don't want to cook anything if you really break it down. But we don't do that. We
I
don't.
wish I had little cherry bombs. I would be
Yeah.
throwing them
So
right
you
now.
don't. So yeah. And all this is just logic, but it comes out of I am always I writing fiction has helped me to determine what my true voice is because of my process. And we all have a voice. It's not just a voice in a book, and voice meaning the tone and the theme and who you are. And we all have a voice. Your voice is very high energy, and we know
I'm
we're going to
loud.
be entertained when Kim's around and stuff. So it's like, so that's your voice. Like if you came in and you were like really mean, your voice is this kind of jokester. So I wouldn't take you seriously, even if you were really mad.
Right, right.
If when you know people, when we know you, I'm sure we would get hints if we were really mad. But that's the whole part of life. Like most of us don't allow our authenticity, our authenticity, whatever the word is, to come
Yeah.
out in our true voice because we're really trying to make everybody else happy but ourselves. And
I'm
then we're the
actually
miserable person.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because okay, they're listening, they're like, okay, I get it. I'm going to start journaling because I know I can find the time. Two, I
Mhm.
know what the heck, right? I'm going to get on my bird and look and so you're going to discover things about yourself. You're going to discover your voice. And I'm guaranteeing you're going to uncover more of that authenticity. So in your story, how is finding your authenticity a game changer?
Um, finding my authenticity has allowed me to break a lot of myths that I had. And we go through this in one of my classes too. Imposter syndrome, starving artist syndrome. Um, uh, I mean, there's a bunch of them, but um, writer's block. I don't believe in any of that. It's writer's bullocks. If you want to have writer's block, you'll have it. I take a lot of classes, which my people say is how I prevent writer's block, which is probably true. But all these myths that we allow, imposter syndrome, I discuss this in depth, and I like to do it individually with people. But if you look up imposter syndrome by definition, it says once you have reached a point of some success, you feel inadequate. Great. You had some success, or you can't have imposter syndrome. And it's the truth. It's the truth. So
Oh,
if you feel like you have imposter syndrome, that is a step in the right direction. But I call it an imposter sham because it gives people a negative connotation, and it's not. You should feel scared because you're succeeding. What's the next step now? What's the next step? But by definition, you can't have imposter syndrome without a step towards success to feel inadequate.
lady, you're amazing. You're amazing. And you are spitting truth after truth after truth in a way I guarantee you they've never heard before.
Good. I hope
So
so.
I want to say, they're listening and they're hearing you saying, okay, yeah, I need to be happy. I need to find my voice and my authenticity. But Kyle Ann, my baby needs me. But my so-and-so needs me. So I want you to speak to why you needed to discover who you were as an entity of your own so that they really get and grasp why, even though you have youngins, even though there's sickness, there's cancer, there's kids, there's always something. Why do we need ourselves?
It's that whole, what do they call it? airplane thing. If you don't give yourself oxygen first, you can't give oxygen to the next person. The biggest thing for me though is I see this. I could never have written a book or two or even three now with my kids in the house. And I have a lot of friends that do. I don't know how I could have done that because I've always written, but I never thought I could until I retired. Well, guess what? All of my friends have kids now and they're all getting it done. And I'm seeing how they're getting it done. And it's all about choices. They choose to get up at 6 o'clock to find that hour to write alone. I never chose to do that. So life is choices, and choices are your life.
Wow.
It's
So
all about choices. If you want to put yourself first, 15 minutes a day is the journal. If you don't want to write about yourself, don't. You can have a cooking journal, a travel journal, your kid's sports journal. If you're so invested in your child, then let's write about your child every day.
it's
Because
actually fun.
what's happened, if you write about your child and they took their first steps, and then, eventually more and more of your truth is going to come out. I'm exhausted today. This child wore me out. I couldn't wait till grandma came and picked up her responsibility, for the day. Whatever if you let yourself go there about what's in your head, it's just like I pull cards a lot. If you pull a card and you want to talk about your boyfriend, and I pull a coin card, well, that's about your work life, maybe, or your home, more something more grounded. That's where your brain is. That's where your energy is. And here you are worrying at a boyfriend. And I'm here to tell you, maybe if you fix some relationships at work and get that off your mind, you can put more energy somewhere. So writing, and I know I went all over the place there, but it goes into my class because I use cards in my class. But writing things down makes them more real. It makes it more, you become your own accountability partner. You become your own reflection partner because you get on your bird later. The important part is to get on your bird. Take 15 minutes and write about it doesn't matter, a recipe.
Wow.
If you worked in the garden today, sometimes you'll see I have a whole day of just gardening. And every month I get to go and see what I fertilized, what I did, how these plants did, because I do it once a month. So my journaling is different all the time. So to answer your question by a crazy way, put yourself first. It's just, how do I write? You know what they say? If you're working in a job you love, you're not working.
Yeah.
Make it work for you. And I know it's easier said than done, but it takes 3 weeks to make a habit, and it won't take you 3 weeks to do this. And if you don't journal one day, guess what? Nothing happens.
So, holy crap. There's no excuses today. You've got to put yourself first. And I want to thank you for your contribution and for your time and for sharing your skill. I mean, this is awesome. But I really want to point out you have brought with you a freaking phenomenal gift. So, friends, you're obviously going to see right below this video, there is a link, and this is an invitation for you to take a crazy free online journaling class called Journaling for Fiction Writers, which can be taught and valued by all of us. So do you mind sharing with us a little bit about that and who's it for?
Journaling for Fiction Writers, I did originally started for fiction writers because of the value I got out of it. But I have been teaching a journaling class since 96, 95. And so what I'm giving you is it's a 30-minute free class to inspire you to jump into journaling, and hopefully writing more. And you can go to KyleAnnRobertson.com, go into the journaling class. You'll see it up on the tab. It's the Journaling for Fiction Writers. And your code is free for me, all capital letters, FREEFORME. And then after you take the class, I'll shoot you an email and we can talk. And if you are a writer or want to be a writer, then we'll move on to my next class so we can zap any bad, hard things and get you rolling. You are going to be able to come up with all your writing, or be inspired with all your writing, because we are going to get you find your own muse that's going to give you your inspiration, your accountability, everything you need. It's so much fun. And you're not going to beat your head against the wall when you're writing.
My God. I don't think people understand the value of this tool that you're offering. And just in my little world, I have so many friends that are like, I have a book in me. I want to write a book. I want to write, and they never do it because it's so big and so advantageous. But this right here, we've got to start somewhere. And this
Right.
is that somewhere.
And
So,
and and you want to write in your voice, and that's why I've developed this course, because I've worked with a lot of book coaches. They're all wonderful people, well-meaning people, but I've also had some suck the joy out of my writing. I've had some where I realized I was writing their book and not
mm,
mine. I'm here to give you your own AI, and it's your authentic intelligence, not artificial. You have it in your brain. And with all the exercises I give you, you're going to be able to use your brain, your intelligence, your history. We can all write the Cinderella story, but if you came from India and I came from France, we're going to write a different story. So it doesn't matter. But I'm going, and journaling will just keep feeding you and feeding you and keeping your brain going. And journaling inspires intuition, which is a whole nother ball game to
oh
get
my God.
into.
You're something else. And I mean that in the best way possible. There's literally no one I would rather take a journaling workshop or course with. So do yourself a favor. Click that link below. Your code is free for me, all capital letters. And this is the lady that you want to lock arms with. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank
Um,
you.
any last minute words?
No, I'm just so excited, and it's so much fun to do. So I'm hoping I can inspire a new person to newly jump into all this and get the value out of it, because it excites me and it's great. It's just so good. Get your brain clear every day in 2 seconds, really,
I
once you
love it.
understand why you're doing it.
I love it. I love it. You had me at hello. Kyle, thank you so much. Friends, grab that workshop. You will not regret it. What a fabulous, fabulous
Oh,
discussion.
yes, that's the end.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good day. Okay,
You
bye.
too.